Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Schmiegel, and I'm the Executive Director of Hiring Our Heroes at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and I'm a 20-year Marine veteran. For veterans who are joining us on the Hangout today, we are having representatives from the leisure and hospitality industry, but more specifically from a key partnership that's taking place between MGM Resorts and the American Red Cross of Southern Nevada called the Boots to Business program. But before we introduce our two panelists, I'd like to tell you a little bit about VetNet. VetNet is a technology-based effort to help veterans, transitioning service members, and military spouses find meaningful employment in the private sector. It was created in close collaboration with two other leading military family nonprofits, organizations which I consider best in class in their fields, the Institute for Veterans and Military Families at Syracuse University, and a small nonprofit called Hire Heroes USA, which is based in Atlanta. As the third nonprofit organization, I represent Hiring Our Heroes, as I said, inside the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation. What's significant about this effort is we're also collaborating with Google, which we believe is an exceptional technology company, and they provide the backbone for what we're trying to do with VetNet. I think of VetNet as a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week virtual career resource center for military families. Using the Google Plus technology and the Hangout that you're on today, we're going to be hosting panels, question and answer sessions, workshops via these Hangout video chats, and try to give veterans and military spouses information about the career transition. I think we'll also be talking to CEOs. We'll also be leading panels with individual companies. But the basic idea is it's like an online television station. And we're basically have 3 channels. There's the basic training channel run by Hire Heroes USA, and it provides basic guidance on resume writing, interview techniques, how to network, how to land a government job, how to develop an elevator pitch that is effective with employers. Additionally, the second channel is called the Entrepreneur Channel, and that's run by the Institute of Veterans and Military Families and designed for veterans who are interested in starting a small business. Basically, the professor at Syracuse who's leading that institute, Mike Haney, gives college-level classes on how to start a business. And then, of course, there's the Career Connections Channel, which is run by Hiring Our Heroes, and that's run by our organization because we're part of the U.S. Chamber, which is the world's largest business federation, and we have access to over 1,600 local chambers, 600 trade associations, and 3 million businesses. We're really excited about VetNet. We think it provides a good complement to programs that the Department of Defense, the VA, and Department of Labor have, and it's a private sector approach that we can leverage and be more innovative than some of the government programs that are out there. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our two panelists. I'm not going to talk too long about them. They can, when they give the overview of what their program is about, they can talk a little bit about their own backgrounds. We have I guess it's to my left on your screen, is Marvella Smith. She's the Director of Talent Acquisition at MGM Resorts, and their key partner from the American Red Cross in Southern Nevada, Lloyd Ziel, who's their Public Information Officer. We're going to cover opportunities in the leisure and hospitality sector. I think I'll ask Marvella a few questions about that from her perspective. But before we do that, I'd like to turn it over to both Marvella and Lloyd to talk about the Boots to Business program, the partnership you've formed, and some of the successes you've had through that partnership in getting veterans, and if you have the stories, military spouses hired there in Nevada.
Sure.
Ladies first.
Okay. Hi, my name is Marvella Smith, and last year was the first year we launched Boots to Business, and veterans are near and dear to MGM Resorts International. We have many veterans that work within our organization already, but we wanted to do more. We wanted to reach out into our community, and so we came up with this idea in partnership with the Red Cross to hire veterans and develop some type of training program to help them transition from the military back into civilian life. And so part of this program is going out within the community and expanding that net a little wider, and then offering training classes, offering support services, and all the while you're doing on-the-job training. And then we also have a mentoring support system amazing to our all of our Boost to Business participants, and they were able to have many mentors across the board and that are involved in the process this year, more so than they were last year.
And from the Red Cross perspective, my name is Lloyd Ziel. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Red Cross in Southern Nevada. From our perspective, we've been working with the military for almost 100 years. So it's been more than, yeah, it's right around there. So we're not unfamiliar with the needs that returning veterans have. As a matter of fact, the American Red Cross has developed courses that are called reconnection workshops, which are used in the training that the Boots to Business inductees, participants, they get those classes, and it helps people who are returning from deployment or stepping down from a position with the military to make the integration into civilian business a little more smooth. So we have some of the reconnection workshops cover things like communicating clearly, exploring stress and trauma, things that are systemically that people from the military run into more than just, say, somebody like me just from civilian life would run into coming into a business environment. So those are classes that are available from the Red Cross all over the country, but we found it was a great fit with the MGM and what they were trying to do to create this Boots to Business program to include that in the education to make that transition into the MGM Resorts International family a lot more
Successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go on to the next question, I'd just like to encourage any veterans who are listening, if they want to submit questions specifically for MGM or for Red Cross, they can feel free to do that, and we'll get your questions answered. And if you have specific questions about the leisure and hospitality industry, if Marvella can't answer those questions, then we can certainly get answers to your questions with some of the other companies that we work with. I think a good question to ask is, obviously MGM hires veterans, and we know from the American Red Cross that this week marks our 400th hiring fair that we've done across the country, hiring our heroes job fairs. American Red Cross has hired quite a few people at our fairs, and I think it would be good, just from a general perspective, to hear from both of you on why veterans are particularly valued in your two organizations and why you hire them. Maybe some of the skill sets they bring to the table, and then if you want to talk specifically about how they can look at the Boots to Business side of it, and we have your website, we can call it up and go through some stuff too. So I'll start with Marvella. Ladies first again.
Thank you, Kevin. Well, I would say on the MGM side that it's important to reach into our community. It's what we do on a regular basis, whether it's veterans, community partners, our culinary training academy, our unions. So we always look to make sure that our partnerships, we reach into our communities. It's first and foremost in our minds. But then veterans have these leadership skills that you can't always find everywhere. But the opportunity is sometimes not there. And I think that it's a great way for us to provide opportunities that we have in existence already, and we look for people with leadership skills, strong people skills. That's what guest service is about in the first place, about having those great customer service skills, outgoing personality. And so what we've tried to do is, in tandem with the Red Cross and doing their support services and their reconnection workshops, we also offer classes here on site, like Essentials of Management. So we're teaching management skills, we're teaching accountability and communication, and because they have led groups and have had these responsibilities, we want to utilize those skills that they already have naturally and bring them into our organization. And so that's really important for us to have that cross collaboration of skills and be able to reach in and have them ingratiate into our community and our environment. And at the end of the day, it's really having great individuals and that have served our country, but we can also give back to them as they have given back to us.
And from our perspective, Kevin, it's something, the American Red Cross, I like to say we're in the disaster business. We mitigate problems that are happening, and who could better be suited for that than people who have served in our military? I mean, they're people that have been, we're all a family of people that look a challenge in the face and look for a plan. And so because we've had a relationship with the military for all these years, we speak the same language oftentimes. For example, we were talking today about my title, PIO. A lot of people in civilian life don't know what that they don't know what that means. But because of our integration over the years, we kind of have a shorthand with one another. So many of the things when we respond to, say, for example, the response to Hurricane Sandy, we were putting boots on the ground, getting them out to where people needed help, and motivating and moving people and goods and services around the Eastern Seaboard. And the experience that folks get in the military is perfect for working with the Red Cross and being able to do that.
Yeah, and as a follow-up, Marvella, I think, with all the bigger companies, bigger organizations that we work with, a lot of veterans may think of a hotel and just associate it with the person that works behind the desk at the check-in. I think, at a place like MGM Resorts, there are a vast array of opportunities, from, a security team that probably dwarfs some medium-sized businesses, to cooking and catering, to general management services, to entertainment, to audiovisual, to IT requirements. I don't know if I hit on all of them, but do you want to comment on that? And are you specifically looking for the technical skills that someone learns in the military, or are general skills applicable as well?
I think that we're open to both. I think that you hit the nail on the head that oftentimes it's a misconception that we are only, food and beverage, or we're only tourism or front desk. We are so much more than that. Our revenues come from all over, and just like our revenues come from all over, our organization has to be well versed in many things, and our organization encompasses most things you'll find across the board at any organization. We have IT, we have food and beverage, we have HR, marketing, finance. It's across the board. So we try to make sure that we are looking across the board for candidates that can fit within our organization, not just in a security or a warehouse, but if you have a business degree, if you've done computers, if you have a social skills that you can work with people, whether it's marketing or media, we have those across the board. Part of our program in establishing how we want to recruit is we're looking to fill assistant manager positions. And so because they have been in these leadership roles, we felt like this was a primary opportunity for us to fulfill those positions, and with leaders that have this skill set already of having to have accountability and having to have good communication skills, having to work within teams. And so, and part of doing that, we are looking at those skills. So maybe everything won't transfer over, but that's why we provide those support services of the training and with the Red Cross to get you prepared to be incorporated into our environment. We're not looking for the perfect fit. We're just looking for a good fit. Somebody that's a great leader, because that's what's going to help our organization move forward. And so that's what we look for.
And Marvella, do you have opportunities just in Las Vegas, or are there opportunities in other states across the country?
You know, the predominance of the opportunities are here in Las Vegas, but we have regional properties. We have Detroit, we have Beau Rivage in Mississippi, and Gold Strike in Mississippi as well. So we definitely want to bring our regional properties online with our program. This just launched last year, so it's still rather small and intimate group. With if 12 properties are intimate, it's still a pretty intimate group. And so, you know, we want to make sure that we launch it correctly and make sure that we're hitting all the things we need to give the support on our side to make sure you're successful in your career. But definitely, if you're interested in our regional properties, then we would help to refer you over to those properties and work with you.
That's great. Lloyd, do you have anything to add on the array of opportunities at the Red Cross, or is it your opportunities more localized? Do you want to talk about any of the IT stuff, or?
Actually, one thing that I do want to talk about, Kevin, with you is that to know that Red Cross chapters all over the country have workshops and briefings on people that are returning. Sometimes some people are coming back from deployment not in their full group anymore. Sometimes they're trickling back in ones and twos, and they sometimes don't get the welcome home briefing and things that the American Red Cross can offer. So there's a lot of good information for military members and veterans that is available through the Red Cross and through their Red Cross chapter, so that they can get that important information upon their return. In terms of, I can really only speak to Southern Nevada Red Cross in terms of actually hiring people, and it's like I said, it's a perfect fit. Military members who have served that help us mobilize volunteers and goods in the face of in preparing for national disasters. It's just a great fit, and the shorthand that we speak with one another is really, really comforting in a time. You know how important training is. You know how important not having to think about something is, and that makes itself known out in the field when those people are responding in the wake of a Hurricane Sandy, for example. Sometimes it's hard to tell a 70-year-old volunteer to do something, to take orders, and military members know that it doesn't mean that we're not getting along. It's just this has got to be done, and then they know the immediacy and the importance of it. So we love it, and we love to work with them.
That's great. I would like to cover kind of a general topic that was touched on by both of you. The Chamber back in August launched a program called the Personal Branding Initiative. I think a lot of folks who are leaving the military, and particularly younger veterans, have a real hard time talking about what they did in the military. There are a lot of tools out there right now that focus just on MOS, and we have a fundamental problem with that. I think, you know, there are jobs at the Red Cross where a medical background, if you drew blood in the military, maybe you'd be great at working at the Red Cross. If you were a corpsman or a medic, maybe there's a logical fit for a specific job. But there are countless young men and women who have served who may have been in combat arms MOSs, or may have served in a specialty that they don't want to do anymore. Everyone is hanging their hat on MOS and not focusing on the intangibles. They are trying to fit a square peg in a square hole. And what we want to do for military men and women is have them focus on everything they did in the military as the totality of their service. So we're developing a technology which we launched back in August through a high-touch program with Dakota Meyer, who's the Medal of Honor, the youngest Medal of Honor recipient and the first Medal of Honor recipient to receive the award in the Marine Corps of the last 38 years. He was an infantryman and a scout sniper, and obviously had his own challenges with transition. But in addition to him going around the country talking about this and passing out a guide at our hiring fairs, we are actually building a technology that'll allow them to put their awards and their deployments and their schools and their leadership experience in military language, and it'll spit out a civilian resume and help them develop an elevator pitch for HR managers to talk about the skills they learn. So we're pretty excited about that. We're going to ask the veterans one last time if they want to answer, or for us to answer any questions specifically about your efforts there in Nevada, your efforts nationally with your two organizations. But if you had advice for younger veterans who are leaving the military, and you had a chance to talk to them about it, what would be the one piece of advice you give them as they make their transition? Again, I think we'll start with Lloyd this time.
Right on. I get to go first.
We'll put you on the spot.
I know, right? The Boots to Business program is really, really good in the fact that, especially with young service members returning, they might not have the experience of getting a resume together or really how to navigate an interview. So the Boots to Business program puts the Red Cross serves on the front line of that in helping folks with their resume, helping them with mock interview and interview techniques, so that when they get to the MGM properties, they aren't unfamiliar and they aren't unarmed with the information that they need to have. So it's really a good, and that's experience that some younger veterans returning might not have had before they went into the service. So it's actually a great free opportunity to have somebody talk about your resume with you. It's a great opportunity to have somebody say, hey, here's what's going to happen in an interview. Are you ready for this? And here's how we can prep you for this. And this is how we can make you feel more relaxed and get you to be a better looking candidate for folks.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on that, Lloyd. Part of MGM is new initiatives. We have many new initiatives where we know that you may not have the experience, but because of who you are, we have many diverse populations, and that's where we align our brand with the military, who also has diverse populations. We engage, invest, and entertain, but our core values are teamwork, excellence, and integrity. And so we really look for that in our candidates. So we know that you may not come out with experience, but that's why we are giving you the tools to be successful within our organization. And that's what Boost to Business is really about, to make you successful, not only because you were in the military and you served our country, but also because you're coming back into civilian life and you need an opportunity, just like many people across the United States need an opportunity. And if we can provide that for you, as we do with many of our new initiatives, that's what we want to do. And that's why we really, the Boost to Business is really close to my heart, because I rolled it out last year. So really getting to know the veterans, really hearing the stories behind what they've gone through and how we can translate that over into our organization and utilize them and give them those tools to be successful. I think that's most important to us. And developing this program with all of the training and support services, I think is what's necessary, and that we've tried to provide that opportunity out there for our veterans.
That's great. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the panel. I want to thank you both for joining. Lloyd and Marvella, it's really great to have you. We'll look for other opportunities down the road to highlight what you're doing and the leisure and hospitality industry as a whole. For the veterans who are listening, I'd like to thank you all for joining. Next week, we're going to have two unique hangouts on air. We're going to invite veterans themselves who may have questions about transitions to join me as the moderator. I will give a quick overview on Tuesday of the Hiring Our Heroes program at large and our initiatives that we've launched in addition to the hiring fairs recently, and then open it up to you for specific questions that you may have for me. And then on Wednesday, I'll be hosting another Hangout on Air for veterans, anyone who wants to join. I think we can host up to 9 veterans at a time, and we'll talk about our Fast Track program, which basically maps the 100 cities in America that are growing the fastest in terms of job growth and shows the 5 or 6 industries that you should consider for employment, as those are the industries that are driving growth in those cities. Anyway, I'd like to thank you both again, and
Kevin,
we look forward to working with you all. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Have a great day.